All right, what's good, man? Let's get into it. So I want to talk about CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans. You know what I'm saying? And I want to talk about the fact CJ Stroud could be set up for the biggest meltdown in the NFL this upcoming season, and no one's talking about it. Now, I know CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans are, they're the darlings of the NFL. They're look at the Texans, this, that, and the third. But I'm here to say, now, granted, this might be very shocking to a lot of my subscribers and some of the videos I made about CJ Stroud because I actually, I said it. CJ Stroud is the best quarterback coming out of not this past draft, but 2023 draft because Will Levis is garbage and Bryce Young is probably the worst quarterback I've ever seen in my whole life. Like, Bryce Young is beyond horrible. But CJ Stroud obviously outshined both of them, but I got a lot of questions about CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans. You know what I'm saying? Now, number one, and further and foremost, I know people are going to say, oh, RJ, get over it. RJ, you're being stupid, this, that, and third. CJ Stroud was caught hanging out with the Kardashians, and people thought I was joking or whatever. I'm not joking when I say this. The Kardashians are witch COVID. If you can sit here and call me conspiracy theory, you can call me whatever you want. But we can all agree there's something wrong with that Kardashian clan. Anytime an athlete or a celebrity hangs out with the Kardashian clan, something always goes wrong with them. Look at Kanye. Look at Tristan Thompson. Look at Ben Simmons. Look at Devin Booker. Look at when CP3 was rumored to be messing with the Kardashians, we saw what happened. And the simple fact that Mr. Christian Boy over here was hanging out with a witch coven, I'm sorry, I'm off of it. The Kardashian curse is real. Them hoes be possessing dudes. And they might have possessed CJ Stroud. You never know. Wasn't he at an all-white Diddy party? That doesn't shock me. That doesn't shock me. He's at an all-white Diddy party. He was caught hanging out with Amber Rose. I mean, come on, bro. The connections are all there. And also, speaking of that, it seems like CJ Stroud is more worried about headlines than, playing football. Doesn't that kind of remind you of somebody? Doesn't that remind you of a guy back in 2019 who got a wide receiver who was, quote, problematic, like CJ Stroud did with Stephon Diggs, and they were projected to take over the league the next year, and they ended up being absolutely garbage? Doesn't that remind you of someone? Baker Mayfield. And listen, Boomer Sooner, I love Baker. Praying and hoping that he balls out with Tampa Bay next year. But Baker Mayfield, when he was doing those progressive commercials, when he was on this show and that show and doing this and doing that, and the next year the Browns didn't do anything. I think they won 5-6 games. They didn't do a thing. And I'm starting to kind of realize that with CJ Stroud. He's on this show. He's on that show. He's hanging out with this celebrity. He's on the NBA All-Star team. He's hanging out with the Kardashians. He's hanging out with Amber Rose. He's hanging out with all these people. Are you even focused on football? I know there was reports saying, oh, he's been studying. There's a report that the offensive coordinator for the Texans was like, oh, he has to force CJ to stop studying. First of all, I don't believe that. I really don't. Now, I'm not saying CJ's not studying. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he's not studying, but I highly doubt that he's doing that. But number two, this could be the setup for the biggest flop in the NFL. Because let's not forget, Trevor Lawrence is coming back healthy. And I like DeMeco Ryans. I thought DeMeco Ryans should have been Coach of the Year last year. But Doug Peterson is a better coach than DeMeco Ryans. Doug Peterson's a Super Bowl winning coach. The first year he went to the Jacksonville Jaguars, which was a dumpster fire, he took them to the playoffs and took them to the second round. And it looked like they were going to make the playoffs this year until Trevor Lawrence got injured. Now Trevor Lawrence is healthy. Also, a sleeper team, the Colts, you never know. Anthony Richardson. Now, granted, I'm not saying the Colts are going to make the playoffs or anything, but they're a sleeper team. You never know. It's still 2 divisional games. The Houston Texans have a A lot harder schedule than they did last year than this year. And also, CJ Stroud has film. Great defenses have film on him. Even mid defenses, middle of the pack defenses have film on him. The Chiefs, the Ravens, the Bills, the Steelers, the Bengals, the Browns, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Dolphins, even though the Dolphins have a good defense, the Jets, even though the Jets are iffy. All these teams that I named are in the AFC who they have to get past or potentially have to get past. CJ, you gonna have to step your game up. Instead of allegedly driving Amber Rose home like she can't afford a personal driver. Instead of driving her home, you should be studying. Instead of hanging out with the Kardashians on Super Bowl, you should be watching the Super Bowl, getting mad that that's not you, and studying. Instead of being on a podcast with Mika Parsons, you should be studying. Instead of playing at the NBA All-Star game, which is a joke, they have Kai Sen out there, you should be studying. But instead, you rather get the Kardashian curse on you and do all this other crazy stuff and it's smelling a lot like Baker Mayfield in 2019. Once again, I could be wrong. You never know, but don't be shocked. Do not be shocked. I know the Texans are, they're the darling team of the NFL right now. CJ's the darling of the NFL right now. But I'm just saying, we had another darling. We had another darling in 2019, and look how that turned out. Now, CJ had a better year, rookie year, than Baker Mayfield because they went to the playoffs and won a playoff game. But still, it's still the same concept. It's still there. Once again, we cannot judge off of rookie years. This is the year. This year, next year, we're going to see what CJ Stroud made of. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. That's my thoughts. What are yours? What's your thoughts, man? Can you see the Texans being set up for the biggest failure in the NFL this upcoming season? You know what I'm saying? By missing the playoffs or just CJ Stroud having a huge sophomore slump. RJ out.